Hello everyone and welcome to the academic pool drawing for 2013. We have a number of exciting things happening today. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Samantha Krieger, and I'm the Academic Bowl Program Assistant. I actually used to be a competitor in the Academic Bowl. I played for the Indiana School for the Deaf and was involved in the Academic Bowl for 1 year. We won our regionals by beating John Hersey High School. We went on to the Nationals competition my year, and we unfortunately lost to John Hersey in the championship round and came in second place. But since then, I have always been involved in volunteer capacities for the Academic Bowl. I've run the PowerPoints and moderated matches, and this year I'm so excited to be the Academic Bowl Program Assistant. Now, as you know, for the past 2 years, we've run the Academic Bowl in a national format where we had all 80 teams come to Gallaudet University. This year, we've decided to go back to our regional format, and we will have 5 regional competitions, which I will introduce to you shortly. We are today doing our pool drawing, and we're doing it more in advance than we typically do. We would like to allow the teams to see the pools and who they're competing against. So we're going to draw the names sooner than we usually do in the past. That way each region can get prepared for who they're going to be competing against. We will also have a schedule book, a program book that will be clear for everyone because it'll actually list the names of the teams who are competing in each pool. Now, as I mentioned, we have 5 different regions, and I have a guest with me today to help me introduce each of the 5 regions. In each region, we have 2 pools. We have the buff pool and the blue pool. There are a total of 16 teams competing in each region, which will be divided into 8 teams for each pool. We will go through a PowerPoint today, which will show you one by one each team that's competing within each region. Now, as you know, we have our 16 top teams from last year's national competition. And those 16 teams are going to become the seeded teams in each of their various home regions. Some of the regions have 4 seeded teams, some have 3, and some have 2. Those seeded teams are already assigned to the buff and blue pools in an equal manner. The rest of the teams are drawn at random for their pool assignments. You'll be able to see a seeded team by noticing a number in parentheses next to the school's name. You can see what their standing was from last year's competition. So let's go ahead and move on to our first region. Our first region is the Southeast region, which is going to be hosted at the Model Secondary School for the Deaf, MSSD. And I have our very first guest with us here today, if I could invite her up to the stage.
Hello.
Hello and welcome. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Vicki Hurwitz, the First Lady of Gallaudet University.
Wonderful. It's such an honor to have you here with us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited about doing this.
All right, if we're ready to get started, we'll go ahead and start with our buff pool for the Southeast region. The first team here, Maryland School for the Deaf.
Woodson High School from Illinois.
The Atlanta Area School for the Deaf.
Tennessee School for the Deaf.
Wisconsin School for the Deaf.
Alabama School for the Deaf.
Pinellas Park High School, and they're from Florida.
Berkmar High School from Georgia.
Okay, then that's our 8 teams for our buff pool. Let's go ahead and see who's in our blue pool.
Sure.
The first team competing here is MSSD.
Florida School for the Deaf.
Eastern North Carolina School for the Deaf.
North Carolina School for the Deaf.
Delaware School for the Deaf.
Georgia School for the Deaf.
West Virginia School for the Deaf.
Virginia School for the Deaf.
Okay, that completes our 16 teams for our Southeast region. I'm pretty excited. Are you going to go watch?
I will, absolutely.
Okay, it's now time for a short break. Hello and welcome back. Are we ready for the next region? Our second region here is the Southwest at-Large Regional Competition, which is going to be hosted at the Sanderson Deaf Center in Utah. Our next guest can come up and join me. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is my first time to participate in this pool. My name is Delila Lorenzo Martinez, and I work in the Office of Diversity and Equity for Students, and I'm responsible for the Keeping the Promise program here.
Wonderful. Welcome to the Academic Pool Drawing. We're
I'm
so
so
excited to have
excited.
you. You want to go ahead and see who the teams are going to be in our buff pool?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look. First, we have the Texas School for the Deaf,
Kansas School for the Deaf,
Colorado School for the Deaf,
Arkansas School for the Deaf,
South Hills High School,
Louisiana School for the Deaf,
Rocky Mountain Day School,
Iowa School for the Deaf.
All right, that completes our 8 teams in our buff pool. Looks like an interesting mix here.
Looks like a good group.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our blue pool. New Mexico School for the Deaf,
Jean Messou School for the Deaf,
Arizona School for the Deaf,
Tucson Public School,
Phoenix Day School,
Minnesota School for the Deaf,
Plano Day School, and our final slot in the blue pool is still vacant. This again looks like a good group.
It does. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm definitely going to attend and watch the competition.
Well, good luck.
And now it's time for another break. Hello and welcome back. We're here for our pool drawings. Are we ready for our next region? The Midwest Regional Competition in Illinois. If I could have my next guest come join me.
Hello.
Hello. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Tabitha Jacques. I'm an admissions counselor here at Gallaudet. I'm also will be a moderator for the 3rd and 4th place competition at Nationals. I'm very excited to see you.
Sounds great. Are you ready to see our first 8 teams?
Yes, I'm ready.
Indiana School for the Deaf,
Hinsdale South High School.
Derby High School.
Illinois School for the Deaf.
Michigan School for the Deaf.
Missouri School for the Deaf.
Ernest C. Drury School for the Deaf in Canada.
Ohio School for the Deaf.
Okay, looking like a good pool here.
Yeah, it sure does. We'll
I'm
see.
very excited, yes. Are you ready to take a look at the blue pool?
I am.
Metro Day School.
Rockville High School.
Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf at Scranton.
Kentucky School for the Deaf.
Whitney Young High School in Illinois.
St. Rita School for the Deaf.
Mississippi School for the Deaf.
John Hershey High School.
I know, very exciting to take a look at this pool as well.
It is.
I'm definitely very excited to go and watch the competition.
Good luck.
And now it's time for another short break. It's really hard to explain the incredible sensation of meeting other brilliant deaf students from all over. When I'd see an academical alumni here at Gallaudet University, it would always bring me back to action. It feels like a family reunion. Academic Bowl really just made me feel at home. Hello and welcome back. If we're ready to take a look at our fourth region. This is the West region being hosted at the Washington School for the Deaf. And I could ask my next guest to come up and join me, please.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to our stage. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm excited. Ana Belka Enriquez is my name, but I go by Becca, and I'm one of the moderators. This is the fourth time I'll be moderating competition. I'll be moderating the championship competition at the competition this year, and I work in the admissions counseling office here at Gallaudet, and I look forward to the competition.
Wow, your fourth time. You've been with us for quite a long time.
Oh, I love it.
Well, are you ready to take a look at our buff and blue pools?
I'm ready.
CSD Riverside.
CSD Fremont.
Edmonds Woodway High School.
Taft High School.
Pearl City High School in Hawaii.
Marlton High School.
Oregon School for the Deaf.
Salako.
Okay, looking like a good pool. A lot of exciting matches I'm anticipating from this matchup.
Looks good.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our blue pool. University High School.
Oklahoma School for the Deaf.
Southern Oregon Educational Services.
Washington School for the Deaf.
Wyoming North.
Idaho Deaf Services.
Montana School for the Deaf.
Wyoming South.
So that completes our 16 teams for our buff and blue pools in this region. Very exciting.
I'm excited too.
And now it's time for our final break. Hello and welcome back to our pool drawings. We're now on to our fifth and final region, the Northeast region, hosted at the Learning Center, which is in Framingham, Massachusetts. And I have our final guest, if you could come on up.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jessie Saunders, the Youth Program and Outreach Coordinator, and I'm also responsible for the Academic Bowl. And I'm very excited about the pool and the drawing today and look forward to seeing each and every one of you at each of the regional competitions. So we have the Northeast Regional Pool drawing now.
Are you ready to take a look at our buff pool? Monroe, number 1, BOCES.
Rhode Island School for the Deaf.
The Learning Center.
Southern New Hampshire.
New Jersey School for the Deaf.
Governor Baxter School for the Deaf in Maine.
Millneck Manor School for the Deaf in New York.
Pennsylvania School for the Deaf.
Looks like a good group we've got going.
Interesting group, yep.
You want to see the blue pool now?
Yes, I do.
EDCO.
Reed's Program for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing in Massachusetts.
New York State School for the Deaf.
Mountain Lakes High School in New Jersey.
St. Mary's School for the Deaf in New York.
American School for the Deaf in Connecticut.
New York School for the Deaf.
And last but not least, Rochester School for the Deaf in New York too.
A very interesting group.
Great. Now I have two very exciting announcements to make. We now have a social media websites to offer to you to join and watch for updates and scores, as well as pictures and live updates. The first one is our Facebook page. You can join the Facebook page by looking at the bottom of the screen for the address. If you like that page, you will automatically receive the updates. You can also look at pictures and add yourself or tag yourself so other people can see pictures of you during the competition. Second, we have a Twitter account. You can join again by looking at the bottom of the screen at our account. Join our Twitter. You'll get immediate updates as well as scores and information announcements. And also during the third and championship matches, you can see live scores until the end of the matches. So that's a new thing for the Academic Bowl, and I'm thrilled that we're coming close to the date, and I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you at the regional competitions. Sammy and I will be at all of those competitions. Look forward to seeing you. And before I leave, just remember, please, 2 things: to study hard and good luck.
Also, if I could add, don't forget to keep your fingers nimble and ready to push those buzzers. I'm very excited and looking forward to seeing all of your competitions in your various regions. Thank you so much for watching today. Goodbye.